Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of the Essential Zodiac podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia McNulty.
And I'm Audrey Fannin, celebrating double digits.
I know. Can you believe it? Yay! Whee! Give some pop of champagne here. And thank you, everyone out there, for listening. We really appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking about the Leo new moon. So how does your lion roar? We're going to talk about new moon energy. But before we get into that, in keeping with the moon theme this year, I have a new service, the Moon Time Planner. The service is based on your lunar return. You can find all the information on my website. It's right on the front welcome page. You could buy it for 1 month. You could buy it for the year. If you buy it for the year, you get 13 moons. So check it out. Of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. So let's review a little bit and ask the question, what is the new moon? The moon is new when it is conjunct the sun in the same sign. And what that means, what conjunct means, is that the moon and the sun are close together in space. And because they're so close together, they'll be in the same zodiac sign. Now, in this case, the zodiac sign is Leo. So the moon and the sun are both in Leo. So generally, the new moon, it's an excellent time to gather resources to support the central purpose of your life. You may notice a new opportunity coming along. And one thing I've noticed is when I kind of think about things and put that energy out there, information seems to come out of nowhere, but you have to pay attention. Like, for example, it's kind of like when you buy a car. All of a sudden, you notice everybody around you has the same car that you do. There's not more, Toyota Celicas out there. It's just you notice it because you're more aware having now this Toyota Celica yourself. So when you're thinking of a new idea or goal, pay attention to the clues that you'll find around you. You may notice a new opportunity available that will come along and make it easier for you to obtain your goal. And these things, like I said, are not something that you'll find right away. So generally, now is an excellent time to gather resources to support the central purpose of your life. You may notice a new opportunity available to pursue that will lead to greater accomplishments. So pay attention. You never know where it's going to come from. So if you get the feeling today that things are not working, it's an excellent time for self-reflection. It can also be an auspicious time to prioritize goals and examine how you are using your time. So are you using your time effectively, or are you wasting time? The internet is a great time waster.
Oh, isn't it?
Right. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. You could go down like some real big rabbit holes. So make sure you give yourself some boundaries or some direction. It's like, okay, I'm going to look at pictures of cats for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go back and do my research. If you get the feeling that things are not working as well as they should, it's an excellent time to use self-reflection and make modifications as needed. Now, that is a new moon in general. It's all about new beginnings and new opportunities. Now, we put the Leo spin on new moons. Now, these moons are great times for letting our hair down a bit. Leo is a fixed sign ruled by the sun. So we are very sunny people. We like playtime right? Which is great, but we need to control that. Can't all be play. But Leo moons are good times for fun, joy, and heartfelt connections. What's important too is we make time for hobbies. You don't want to be a workaholic, but you don't want to swing too far away and become lazy. So you want to have that nice balance. Leo is also a creative sign, so we can work on new creative projects and endeavors. So if you have something that requires you to be artistic or creative or whatever that might be, a new moon in Leo is a good time to begin that project. Now, also, too, we can infuse creativity in our mundane life so that we can make a boring job a little bit more fun. However that is going to be for you, think about it and figure out how you can make it fun. This is especially true if you're trying to have your kids do chores. Every mom and dad out there knows that getting the kids to pick up their toys can be a challenge. So, put a spoonful of sugar, on the request, somehow make it a race or whatever. But the new moon in Leo is good to help us make a boring or mundane task a little bit more fun. Now, this particular new moon is in a positive alignment with Jupiter in Aries. Even though Jupiter is going to turn retrograde later the same day, Jupiter is a very positive energy. Even when it's retrograde, it's positive. Jupiter is expansive, growing, abundant energy. When it's retrograde, that abundance is tampered a little bit. It's not so expansive that we lose sight, of the little details. Jupiter is great for the big picture, not so much for the little details. But when Jupiter is retrograde, it dials that back a little bit. So Jupiter retrograde can slow things down and give us a chance to focus on maybe old baggage and karmic sludge that's getting in our way that needs to be worked out before we can pursue something new. The sign Leo is associated with the heart, so this is a good time to work on heart ties or maybe heart blockages that you have.
Are you talking both spiritually and physically here? Emotionally, spiritually,
I would say
physically?
Emotionally. I'm not an expert on medical astrology, but every sign corresponds to a different part of the body. For Leo, it's the heart. I know that because I'm a Leo. So it's the heart. So you can use it metaphorically, like a new moon energy for a love affair or a new love affair coming, even to strengthen or get creative with an existing love affair. So when I'm talking about heart ties, those are spiritual and emotional. Now, also, if you're having physical manifestations and problems like shortness of breath or a tight chest, please go see your doctor, because that's not necessarily new moon energy. That's a heart attack. So please, if you ever feel disturbing symptoms, go to the emergency room and see your doctor. Let's take a break for a moment. And when we come back, I'll have some new moon tips and a tarot card pull.
Visit EssentialZodiac.com to learn more about Cindy's new lunar return service. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to her monthly Skywatch Journal. If you'd like to get early access to that newsletter, sneak peeks about new episodes and special topics, even a private discussion group, consider becoming a patron of this podcast. Just click on the red Become a Patron link on the website for details. Now back to you, Cindy, for some tips and that moon tarot card.
Thank you, Audrey. So, here are a few tips for getting the most out of the new moon, out of the Leo new moon. So, also to remember that the new moon energy is good for 2 weeks until the full moon. So, set intentions for confidence and or leadership in your life. How can you show up more in a leadership role for yourself and others over the next month? What inhibits your confidence? What's holding you back? Where do you need to boost your confidence in order to manifest your goals? Turn down the noise and step away from social media, myself included. Take a break from listening to others tell you what or how to feel. You should do something instead. Their opinion, not necessarily your opinion. Reflect and listen to your own thoughts. Okay, so there's a lot of people out there, not just our family anymore, but people we don't even know, strangers, all ready to tell us how we should live our lives. Take a moment and really think about what you want your life to be. If those suggestions are useful and valid, by all means, follow them. But if they're, a bunch of baloney, just smile, nod, pass, and then do what you want. Journal. I find journaling very, very helpful, very important, especially if I'm having a dilemma or, I have to figure out something. Journal. Take a few minutes a day to put your thoughts on paper. Take time to tap into your own inner wisdom and lead from your heart instead of following others' advice. And then finally, do one thing that nudges you out of your comfort zone. Confidence builds as you push against the boundary of your comfort zone. So do one thing from now until the full moon in Aquarius on August 11th that feels a bit scary, but helps your confidence grow. So just do one thing. And you're going to want to journal about that one thing that you did. Now, a Leo New Moon Tarot card. I pulled a card from the Rider-Waite deck for Leo, which is Strength. So the tarot card Strength is Leo. In the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, the Strength card depicts a woman with her hands on the jaws of a lion, symbolizing the balance of feminine and masculine energy, taking control, tolerance, and self-awareness. Now, if you don't happen to have a tarot deck, you could go Google tarot card Strength, and you'll get dozens and dozens of images. Pick one you like, and you can use it for this. Or if you have a personal deck of your own, find the Strength card. It's in the major arcana, and use that. But you want to make sure you use the Strength card. So to work with this card, you have your Strength card, and spend some time, look at the card and really look at it. Spend some time journaling about where you need to show up with more strength, with more confidence and more leadership in your life. Like I said, if you don't have a tarot deck, Google. So we end here, and I saved a treat for last. On Friday, July 29th, the episode we are having is with another special guest. Her name is Sky Bradshaw. Some of you out there may know her from Tarot by Sky, or another of the many hats she wears, and she wears many. She's a dear friend, and she's agreed to come and talk to us about living an energetic life. Trust me, you don't want to miss this episode.
Sky is great. You don't want to miss that episode.
See, both of us, we know her personally. I mean, it'll be a blast. Right, Audrey?
It will.
It will. Trust us. Thank you for listening, and remember, with astrology, you can chart your life's course.
Thanks for joining us for our 10th episode of the Essential Zodiac Podcast. You can find us on your favorite podcast sites and also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We hope you'll like, share, and follow our podcast. And if you have a question for Cindy or a suggestion for an astrology topic you'd like her to discuss, you can send an email to ezpodcast@yahoo.com. That's the letter E, the letter Z, podcast@yahoo.com. The Essential Zodiac Podcast is produced at Muddy Creek Studios near Winston-Salem, North Carolina.